All right, today we coming to you with another episode of Auto Glass Tech Talk, and we going to San Diego County, North County actually, and we got Chris with us with Solid Windshield Repair. What's good, brother? How you doing?
I'm doing
What's up,
good, guys.
Chris?
I'm doing good. Excited to talk to both of you guys. You guys are both legends in the auto glass industry. So yeah, I'm excited to talk to both of you guys.
But that's what's up, man. We glad to have you, man. So before we get going, we got Drift here with the beautiful background, brother. Where you at and what you doing?
So I'm out in a little tiny town called Ingram, Texas.
Okay.
I'm working on a couple hail cars out here for some people, and thought it would have been a beautiful spot today. Some nice sun. It's a little on the cool side, so
All
trying to
right.
take advantage of that morning cool weather.
There you go. Well, I'll be mindful of both of y'all's time since y'all both got probably busy days and stuff happening. So, since we got two Chris's on, we gonna actually go Drift and Chris to make it make sense, right, for everybody watching. But two Chris's here. But with Chris, with you, you used to do windshield repair, right? And just from doing windshield repair, let's jump into that first, and we're gonna go from the transition of repairs to replacements, right? So, beyond doing just good repair work, can you give us two tips or two marketing strategies to actually grow a windshield repair business?
Yeah. So obviously good repair work is always going to be like the bread and butter, right? Do a repair and your customers are happy. They're going to refer you over to people and whatnot. So that's always like the main thing. But like, it's a good marketing tip I would say is, when I started my business, I kind of did the way of the modern day business, right? A lot of people get into windshield repair like back in the day, and they kind of, go to dealerships, they go to fleet accounts, try to get in touch with them. But I figured I'm going to just take it the way that, modern day businesses do it nowadays. And they basically just go out and put themselves on Instagram, on Facebook, on all of the online platforms and really try to find customers that way. So that's kind of how I built my business was Instagram. I basically made an Instagram page and I started marketing on Instagram, and just kind of try to find customers on there. And that's kind of like where everything kind of started. And I paid a lot of money for advertising on Instagram, got a lot of, put up a lot of ads and really just put my face out there. And that was kind of like what started catapulting my business up. And that's how I was able to kind of get my customers in the beginning stages.
Okay.
It's really cool. Yeah. I want to chime in real quick. So I love how you did that and just everything you said right there because when I talk to new business owners and people who are just coming to the industry, whether it's repair, ADAS, or install, I try and tell them Instagram is an amazing tool to grow your business. Get out there and just use it. Take tons and tons of pictures. That's awesome to hear that.
Yeah. Nah, it's super cool hearing like a lot of people back in the day they got in the yellow pages, they got on the internet, and then the transition of how like business went. So it went from being yellow pages to the internet, then to being on social media, but also just understanding that and leveraging that to actually grow your business, but get leads, right? So you got to get leads, convert those leads, and stay in front of people. So shout out to you for doing that, right? So now we transitioning, right? So you was doing repairs, doing good with it, right? So what was the tipping point that made you realize I should get into replacements and calibrations?
Yeah, so I started doing ship repair back in 2019, and I did it for just like about 5 years straight, just only chip repair. And people were always like, "What the heck? How do you do that?" And blah blah blah. And I was just, I found the marketing, the route that I wanted to take, and kind of what worked best for me. So yeah, I basically just did that for about 5 years straight, and then got into full auto glass replacement last year, so 2024. And I was like, you know what? I want to scale my business and I need to make more money, because with chip repair, you can make really good money and you just have to do a lot of chip repairs, right? So
Right.
I was mobile, I was going everywhere, a lot of gas, a lot of time driving, stuff like that. So unless I wanted to set up like a tent location or a shop or something and actually get more clients that way, but do them quicker, then yeah, I can make more money. But I was like, I don't know if I'm going to want to have the overhead yet. So I was like, the natural progression in chip repair is getting a full auto glass replacement. So last year, went to a training, got trained on auto glass. And then, I got into, I basically got into that and I figured, wait, I need to do calibrations. So that's
Right.
where I met Chris. or drift, and went to his training over in Texas, and yeah, spent a couple of days with him, got trained on calibration. So, I just kind of looked at it and I was like, you know what, I need to make more money, and figured I can, make a lot better profit margins with just like an actual replacement than a chip repair. Even though chip repair is great profit margins, right? I charge $100. That's basically all profit, but each job I want to be able to make more money. So I was like, you know what, the natural progression is just getting into auto glass. So that's kind of what I did last year, and haven't been doing it for very long, but it's been pretty fruitful so far. So
There you go. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Yeah, so a question that a lot of people have when it comes to making the transition like you did, right? They have hesitations, right? And a lot of people had a hesitation and never pull the trigger and go do it. So when you was making the transition, did you have any hesitations?
oh yeah, definitely, man. I didn't like I could have done it earlier, right? I could
Mhm.
have gotten into auto glass, a few years ago, and I thought about it and whatnot, but I was very like, I don't know, stubborn. I necessarily wanna I liked chip repair how like easy it is, right? It's just so easy to go out, make $100 and it's quick, it's fast, it's just easy. And I was like, you know what? I'm not sure if I want to get into, replacements.
Mhm.
And that's just kind of how I felt for like the last like few years. And I was like, well, I think it would just be smart to do it because I'm already getting the leads, right? I'm already
Mhm.
getting people that are messaging me. It's like, hey, I got a crack in my windshield. Can you still repair it? No, I can't repair it. So I would send it over to my guy that I knew here in San Diego, and he was making a killing off of me. So I was
Right.
sending him a lot of leads. He was making a lot of money, and then that's when I kind of noticed like I'm leaving a lot of money on the table. So I was like, you know what, let's just get into it. But the transition really wasn't that bad. I come from a background of automotive. I guess I worked at Toyota for 6 years before I did chip repair. And
Right.
that's kind of like where I actually found out about chip repair and stuff like that. We could talk about that because you're a big part of that, Corey. Back then watching your videos and stuff. But yeah, making the transition wasn't too bad just because I liked using my hands,
Mhm.
and I was already kind of used to that, I guess. So a lot of it just kind of came naturally. It's all very still new to me. I'm still
Mhm.
learning every single day.
Right.
But yeah, it hasn't been too bad, I would say. So I mean, for people that want to get into it, just if all auto glass is just basic steps. It's all kind of the same steps. Every car's different, of course, but it's all nuts and bolts and taking apart things, right? So as long as you're kind of good with your hands for the most part, I guess, then yeah, you should be fine and be able to get into auto glass fairly easily.
Nah, there you go. So, question for you, Drift. With like the whole training part and getting involved with this, right? It's always a learning curve with replacements and calibrations, right? And people got to get past the learning curve, but they also got to get confident. So, Drift, what are some things to kind of help people with the confidence and getting over the learning curve when doing like getting in replacements or calibrations?
And it's for replacements, it's just a hands-on, really. It's just a hands-on, go on a junkyard, practice a couple things on a car there. Otherwise it's just kind of putting that confidence in yourself when you're going up to it. Don't be scared of it. You just it's like you say, you just got to take that jump and just go for it. It's really not hard, and I don't know if that answered the question.
Yeah, that answered. So with you, yeah. So with you, Chris, did you have a learning curve, or what helped you get confidence? Because I know you still new into doing the replacements and calibrations, but was it? I know it's a learning curve, but what helped you go along the way to be like, hey, I can do this. I got confidence, and you feeling better because I'm sure you're growing as you go, but giving you confidence as you're going along.
Yeah, so confidence is like one of those things where it's kind of like you got to like ingrain it in yourself.
Mhm.
When I talk to people about getting into auto glass, they're like, I just ask them like, what do you suggest I do? And everybody said, go work for someone, go work for Stay Flight, go work for an auto glass shop, and
Right.
spend a couple years there and learn from them. And I was like, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want
Mhm.
to work for anybody else. When I got into my chip repair business, I was like, I'm my own boss. I'm working for myself now.
Mhm.
I do not want to go back to a job. And when I was, making the transition to auto glass, a lot of people said, go work for someone. And I was like, I just don't want to do that. And I was like, there has to be another way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I like that positive mentality. And Andy Frisella talks about this. Drift, you know about him. So
Yep.
yeah, he talks about it a lot. And I just didn't want to go back to a job.
Right.
So I was like, you know what how do I do this? And it's just one of those things where it's like, be confident in yourself. And, I'm the type of person also that likes to do a lot of research. So I'm on YouTube all the time. I'm on the Facebook groups. I'm on everything. I'm on Google, just searching up everything. When I first got into chip share, that's kind of how I found Corey. Or I was like, all right, you know what? I figured out about this business. I figured out about Delta kits because another guy used them that I knew. And that's where I found Corey, watched all of his videos on YouTube, learned it from there basically.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I just, kind of did all the research I possibly could do to get into it. So same thing with Autoglass. I
Mhm.
read the Autoglass Bible, the Autoglass, the big textbook that
Yeah.
gets. I read it from cover to cover. So, I kind of get like deep into things and just want to like learn about it.
Mhm.
So it's just one of those confidence things where you just kind of ingrain it in yourself, the worth is in the work, what a lot of people say. So, just put the work in, and then you'll gain confidence from there.
All right, cool. Nah, that's what's up, man. Yeah, I love that. Appreciate that insight. And not the pocket watch here, but when you got into replacements, did you see like a gradual? Did you see immediate like growth in the business, or was it gradual process? Or kind of how did that work for you? Was it because a lot of people getting started in auto glass, they want to know, is it profitable? Are you making money? So was it? How was that process for you?
Yeah, so it definitely is a lot more profitable each job, right? So when I was just doing chip repair, I did a lot of marketing and I spent a lot of money on ads. So, that was kind of cutting into my profit margins, although I was doing a lot more chip repairs back then. So once I got into auto glass, I said, you know what, I'm gonna try to, change things up in the business. It's a one-man show, right? It's just me, so it's nothing too crazy.
Mhm.
But I was like, okay, let's cut the marketing, let's stop advertising, not cut the marketing, but yeah, stop advertising, stop paying for ads,
Mhm.
and then just see like where I can go with organic marketing.
Right.
Luckily by that point, I kind of built up my Google pages and stuff with my chip repair business. So, like I said, I was already getting the leads in for replacement. So yeah, basically, yeah, just kind of let it go from there. And then yeah, each replacement job was one of those things where it's like, okay, I'm gonna look at it and see how much profit am I gonna make from this job, and that's
Right.
how I pulled it out and whatnot. So, I can make $100 from a chip repair, pretty much full profit.
Right.
It costs like $1 or whatever it
Right.
is, materials, right? And then drive stuff like that. But then I can, do a replacement job, charge, 250 is about like what we charge here for labor, depending on needs and calibration. If I want to do it or like, go through insurance, right? Insurance is a lot more profitable. So it just kind of depends on each one. But profit margins definitely went up, especially since I stopped advertising and just kind of went straight with organic marketing and getting customers organically that way.
Nah, that's what's up.
And yeah, I mean, 5 years of doing chips. I mean, after those first couple, I'm sure you started getting the calls for replacements. And yeah, I mean, in 5 years, you're established. You're definitely
Right.
established. So I agree. Let that word of mouth run its course, and maybe hit a little bit of ads here and there. But that's awesome to hear. The
Yeah.
advertising that you did was paid off for
Yeah.
for where you are now.
Yeah. And that's a tip
Exactly.
for
I was gonna
everybody.
say that.
Mm,
I was
yeah.
gonna say that just because, yeah, with you're paying all this money for advertising, right? But you're getting all these customers. So that was my big goal. It was really just to shoot for retail customers. With chip repair businesses, a lot of people, the typical way to go about it, right, is for marketing is go to dealerships, go to fleet accounts, get accounts. And that's all great. But when you're working with those guys, they want to pay you as little as
Right.
possible, right? They want to pay you, a little bit less than what they paid the last guy. So
Right.
it's one of those things where it's a race to the bottom. So I didn't want to shoot for, that. I got a lot of dealerships. I had, fleet accounts, but that's what I noticed really early on is they just didn't want to pay me very much, and I could charge a lot more to retail customers. So I was like, you know what, let's advertise, try to get these retail customers, try to keep them as customers later down the road, because who knows where my business is going to go. And luckily it paid off. I paid a lot of money for these customers for sure, because I advertised to get in front of their face. Although it was kind of like planting those seeds in the early stages, where now I don't have to market and it's basically just organic from here. So I'm very grateful for that. I'm glad I did it. It was just
Mhm.
expensive.
Yeah. Nah, so two things you said that resonate to me. One, when doing any kind of business, think with the end in mind, right? So you're thinking like, all right, cool. What if I grow my business to from repair to replacement? So thinking with the end in mind. And then the second part that you said is, yeah, everybody out there, most people pay for some kind of type of advertisement, but stop for a while to see what you can get organically, because you might have done your job and got in front of people, and now people now know you and will hit you up organically, and now you still making money but spending less on the advertising. So appreciate you for those two tips, and hopefully someone out there will try that and try cutting their advertisement, for a month or two and see where it actually leads you, because that's pretty insightful information on that. So transitioning down from a little bit of the marketing side, and I got a question for both of y'all, and I'll start with you, Drift. So when
All
doing
right.
repairs, you can have any kind of vehicle, right? You can be in a car, you can be in a truck, van, whatever, right? Repair, you just got a repair
Yep.
toolbox, so you can be whatever. So since Chris made the transition from repair to full auto glass, the big question was, do I get a truck? Do I get a van? So I start with you, Drift. What are your thoughts on, and what do you drive, van or truck, or what's some of your pros and cons to van versus truck?
So I have been in everything now, small truck, big van, small van, little truck. Um, I would say my go-to is just good old Chevy Express. I love that full-size van
Mhm.
for all my replacements and everything. Carry everything in there. Nowadays I'm in a Tundra
Yep.
and I got a unique setup. Actually, while I'm out here, I'll give you a quick
Yeah.
little show on it since it's kind of a unique setup. So I got my pack outs right there in the
Right.
back. There's a bungee there. So then I fold the tailgate down there ready. I got my glass rack right here, folds
Okay.
out to the side. That way it's out the way.
Yep.
And then I keep, my pro set, my other tools in the cab there, and that's it. But I'm liking the truck again a little bit. But I
Mhm.
think still we'll always go back to a van.
All right. So what about you, Chris? What you got? Did you go truck or van when you got started?
Yeah, so I ended up I was back and forth. I was like, should I get a van or should I get a truck? But I ended up getting a truck.
Mhm.
Since I'm in San Diego, we got so much to do here, I guess. We
Mhm.
got the
Yeah.
desert, we got the beach, stuff like that. So I was like, you know what? Every guy's got to have a truck, right? And I didn't have a truck. So I was like, let's try a truck first.
Mhm.
And I was like, you know what? Let's get the Swiss Army knives of trucks. I got a Tacoma, and I was like, I can use it for more than just auto glass, and that's kind of why I opted out for a truck. So, I was back and forth. I was like, should I get a van? Then I would just use it for auto glass, and then it would just do for work. I was like, well, let's get a truck and use it mainly for work, and then if I want to go to the desert or
Yeah.
throw stuff to the bed, or if family members need to use my
Take it all
truck,
off.
Right.
then I could take all my stuff off and then just use the truck
Yeah.
at least. So
Yeah,
yeah, I'll for a
I've
truck.
seen your setup too.
Yeah.
I will say I've seen your setup. You showed it to me. You have a pretty awesome setup going there too.
Yeah.
For a Tacomas, most people don't usually do it the way you did it. They just throw the rack in the back and put his toolbox on the side of the truck. And you wanted a little something differently, and it looks
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah. So what kind of modifications did you make or to it?
Yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Cause yeah, I put a lot of money into an effort. So yeah, definitely. But yeah, I got a Tacoma, a long bed Tacoma. I needed the bigger bed because
Mhm.
auto glass, windshields can be pretty big. So I needed a bigger bed. The bed wasn't gonna work. So yeah, what I opted for was a toolbox called the deck system.
Mhm.
And I saw another guy, he actually had it in his Jeep Gladiator, I think. So the truck Jeep.
Mhm.
And I was like, I want that. That is sweet.
Mhm. Right.
So I opted for that. It's basically just like a full bed toolbox that
Mhm.
sits on the floor of it.
Mhm.
Goes up about like I don't know 9 inches or 12 inches or something like that. So basically, it fills up the bed, and there's a big drawer that comes out of when you drop the tailgate. So it's a big drawer that you keep everything in. So when you put it in and you close the tailgate, you don't even see a toolbox in there. A lot of guys will have a big toolbox on the side of the bed, right, or in the front or whatever, so you can see it. I didn't really want that. I wanted something a little bit sleeker. So I have that toolbox, keep all my toys in there basically. Bigger things I keep in the cab.
Mhm.
But on top of the toolbox, I have my glass rack, and then I have my stand, my windshield stand, and a lot of
Right.
that stuff. So there's not too much on top. So yeah, when I'm cruising around, you don't really see too much. All you see is like the glass rack and the windshields, of course. But looks really sleek. I like it because it's a little bit safer too. I've actually had my car broken into a few years ago when I was just doing chip repair, and all my chip repair stuff stolen. So shout out Corey because he hooked it up back then. I don't know if you remember, but yeah, he hooked it up with the tools. And yeah, I got all my stuff stolen. So here in San Diego, it's nice, but you got some people that need to make money to live around here. So yeah, I got all my stuff stolen. So I was like, you know what? Yeah, let's try to make it sleek. Let's make it look good. So that's kind of what I opted for that. I would show you guys right now because my truck's outside. I have a YouTube channel on YouTube that's showing about it. So yeah, if you want to check it out on YouTube. But shameless plug there. But yeah, I love that thing. It's sweet. It was kind of expensive, but it's an investment.
Well worth it. It's an investment. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And you know what? I'm glad you said it too, because something that a lot of people don't think of, and all of us don't think of this either, is when you got your box on the side, it's really easy to break into those boxes and have your tools stolen, right? Like you said, you experienced that. When you have the deck system like that, and the newer truck, tailgate goes up, tailgate locked. You're not popping that tailgate down at all until you unlock the car. And if you do, that alarm's still going off. So you got like a double security there for your tools. It's really nice.
Yeah. And especially with auto glass, all the tools are a lot more expensive than
right.
If they still want tools, it's like a $900 extractor that I do not want to get stolen for sure. It's a little bit different than like a
That is true.
I was really mad when my B250 got it was a B250. I just got it and I wanted to use it, and I think I used it like once, and then I got all my stuff stolen.
Oh,
yeah. Now, so talking about tools, when you got started with replacements and stuff, you had the basic tools. Did you get any what was a specialty tool you might have got, or a tool that you really happy that I got that kind of helped me make me more productive, efficient, or I just really love this tool? So what tool would that be?
Definitely the orange bat. And I got it from Drift. I got it from him, and yeah, I love that thing. That thing, it's so much easier to cut out windshields with it. And I basically use it on every single car that I can, which is basically most cars. So yeah, the bat is definitely one of my favorites. I would say the bat and what else? Yeah,
I see your videos. You use the Pro Set, so I see you got a Pro Set on some of your videos.
Yeah, I also got that from Drift. So, yeah, the Pro Set. Yeah, I just got it. I haven't used it very much yet. I was doing some replacements the other day, but I was kind of in a rush. So I didn't want to set it up because I'm still fairly new with it. So I was using my Pro 6. I got a WRD Pro 6 that I got used to, and I could just set up a little bit quicker. So I was using that a little bit. I've used the Pro Set on a couple cars though. I like it a lot. It's definitely good. And I know it'll help me on a lot of like certain cars, BMWs, where they have like the fenders that kind of get high up, and the windshield dives into those. So it's gonna help me out a lot for sure. I have a partner that he's actually my nephew that helps me set glass and stuff like that. And just kind of showing him a little bit of the ropes.
Right.
Yeah, it basically helps me for like the big windshields or like the specialty ones. So I'll save a little bit of money using the Pro Set for sure, because I gotta pay him.
All right, cool. So here I got a question for both. I got a question for both of you out here, and I go with you first, Drift. So with the training aspect of it, Drift, you've been doing replacements and been in auto glass for a long ass time, right? So when you got started and got trained, what was there a piece of advice that stuck with you for years or for time that, like, when you got trained, that you remember?
Oh man. Something that stuck with me forever. It was it definitely wasn't how I was installing. Johnny, love you, bro. You OG, but you taught me the hack way. So there nothing that from the install side that I really have like taken much. But it's just the treat every car like it's your own. Treat every car like it's your own. Treat every car like $1 million. That was my one takeaway from since I started till now that I've always kept with me.
Yeah. And what about you, Chris? What kind of advice? I know you fresh with the training a year ago, so is something that stuck with you that still sticks with you now that you remember?
Yeah, so I got trained from Lee Swindle, if you guys know who that is, over in Tuscadero, and went to his training program. Really, really cool guy. Really, really cool guy. And he mentioned one thing that just kind of stuck with me was, for some reason, I don't know why, but when you're shooting urethane on the body, you start from the bottom passenger side.
Mhm.
And you do that, I think, hopefully, I'm not getting this wrong, but I think because if the car was in an accident after, you finish the replacement and the airbag went off on the passenger side dash, there's more time for the urethane to cure on that side. So when the airbag hits the windshield, it doesn't pop it out, right? For some reason, that stuck with me. Again, I'm new, so the little things like that. But I always remember every time I do a replacement, okay, let's start on the passenger side on the bottom because of that reason. So it's a little safety thing. It's very, very like little detailed, detail oriented. But yeah, I don't know. I'm weird. It just stuck with me for some reason, and I think that's pretty important because there could be weird, chances of you doing a replacement, you giving it to the customer at the safe driveway time and everything, and then God forbid they get into an accident and yeah, that airbag, pops out and hits that windshield. So you want that cure time to have the most time right there.
Yeah. Nah, that's what's up. Appreciate both of y'all for that advice. And I get both of y'all. I know both of y'all got busy days, so I'll get y'all out of here on the last question. And I start with you on this, Drift. When doing a job, do you like to wear headphones? No headphones? Because I see a lot of technicians, they do repairs or replacement, they got headphones on. So if you wear headphones, what kind of headphones are you wearing? And two, are you listening to music? Are you listening to podcasts? Or what are you listening to?
All right. I'm a iPhone guy. I love the Air Pro, Air Pro, the Apple, the AirPods, the
AirPod,
Pro version of the AirPods.
right?
Like the newer ones. I love
Mhm,
those things with the noise canceling.
mhm,
If the customer's not out here, they don't want to talk and chit chat and stuff. Believe me, the headphones are going on and that noise canceling is going on,
right.
and I'm either jamming out to some country
Mhm.
rock or I got a podcast of James or someone else on.
Yeah, there you go. What about you, Chris?
Yeah, so I don't like the whole time that I was doing chip repair. For some reason, I just never put in headphones. I'm not sure why. Probably because I'm very like I like focusing on one thing, and then like if I'm listening to music, I lose track, and then I don't know, it just messes me up personally.
Mhm.
So especially with replacements, I'm always like talking to myself while I'm doing it. I'm thinking,
There you go.
I'm like, all right, I'm not screwing this up. I don't want to mess this up. Blah 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 blah. So I just don't want to be distracted by headphones or anything. But when I'm driving to job, I'm definitely listening to a podcast. I listen to a lot of podcasts and just try to learn from everybody or music too. But yeah, but when I'm actually doing the job, I don't know. To me personally, I just like being focused on the
You
job.
locked in. I got you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, that's what's up. And last thing for you, Chris, before you get out of here, I know you listen to a lot of podcasts and like always trying to grow and get better, but you have helped a lot of people grow in the windshield repair industry, right? So you used to do windshield repair training and all that. Is that still around? And also let us know your YouTube channel and all your social media handles, brother.
Yeah, so I figured I'd try to like spread the knowledge. Chip repair kind of like saved my life, I would say, because it got me out of my job. It made me just a lot more happy every single day. So I want to kind of spread the knowledge and just share what I knew. A lot of people were interested too. There's still people out there that don't know what rock chip repair is. They don't know what auto glass repair is. So I kind of just wanted to spread the game and just help people out. So yeah, I created training on it, helped a lot of people out start their own business. There's a lot of businesses out there, even in my area where they're my competition now. So
Yeah.
it's kind of funny, but still doing that a little bit, not too much right now, just because I'm focusing on my main business and just focusing on auto glass.
Mhm.
But yeah, help a lot of people out. I have a lot of free YouTube videos. You can just find me with my name, Christopher Solis. Yeah, have a lot of game up there. You can find me on Instagram at solace.wsr.
Yep.
And yeah, put up some reels there and whatnot. I hate social media, honestly. It just takes up so much time. And then when you're trying to build a business and like do social media and all that, it's kind of hard. So I'm kind of dabbling back and forth with posting and using social media and then not using it for a little while and just focusing on like business and the actual nitty gritty of auto glass. So I'm kind of back and forth, but I still have a lot of game up there, a lot of stuff that is very valuable in my opinion.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can just find me on there. I'm on Facebook too, Chris Chrysalis. You can just search my name. You should be able to find me.
Yeah.
But yeah.
There you go.
Awesome.
Well, I appreciate both of y'all for your time. Drift, we let you get to your work. And Chris, I know you finna get your day going. So I appreciate both of y'all for taking time out your busy schedules to chit chat. So y'all take care and keep crushing it, man.
Cool.
Right on. Have a good day.
Thanks,
Thanks
guys.
for coming on, Chris.